Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Lay. I'm a family medicine physician who preaches lifestyle balance and sustainable weight loss. Today, I'm going to teach you how to get toned. When a lot of people think of getting toned, they think of, oh, I'm just going to lose a bunch of weight and then I'm going to look toned. But that is not the case. So when you are getting toned, I don't know if you can even see this. Okay, that is better lighting-ish, I think. So a lot of people, when they think of getting toned, they think of, oh, I'm just gonna lose a bunch of weight and then I am going to see my muscles underneath. But what people don't understand is that when you lose weight, you can't when you lose weight fast, you can't preferentially just target your fat anywhere and leave your muscle mass. So in order to get toned, we need to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. And remember that they are two separate processes that can happen simultaneously. Weight loss ultimately comes down to calories in, calories out, and a caloric deficit. On average, if you're at a caloric negative, you will lose weight. As for muscle mass, they are determined by two things. Mainly is resistance training, and two is amount of nutrition, protein intake. If you have the adequate nutrition building blocks to build the muscle, then resistance training is really what's gonna build it, right? So I'm gonna teach you how to do both of those at the same time, step by step, and walk you through everything. So this is kind of like a physique update as well. Yes, honey?
I want to show you what I mean for my store.
Look how big Wyatt is now. I don't know if you guys could see this, but this is called Banh Nam. It is a specialty of central Vietnam. It reminds me of like a tamale, but this is rice and just kind of shrimp here, and we eat it with fish sauce. So let's start off with muscle building. And as I said, the most important thing about muscle building is resistance training and your nutrition. So how body recomposition works is that you want to eat at maintenance calories because you want to be able to have enough nutrients and enough energy in your day to fuel your overall daily life and your lifts. So I used to do intermittent fasting because I was just not hungry in the morning. Like I would feel nauseated if I forced myself to eat. And that ultimately led me to lift a lot less because I didn't have those fast digesting carbs in order to fuel my lifts. And so I got tired halfway through. So now what I do is I try to eat about 50 grams of carbs, at least about 30 minutes to an hour before I lift, and then carbs after I lift as well. I think a switch that a lot of us need to make is that a certain food or food group is considered bad. There's no moral value that is assigned to food. And so people who are doing keto and saying that, you know, carbs are bad for you, insulin resistance, and inflammation and all that stuff, no, you do not need to cut out a whole food group in order to maintain health. I see carbs as these are fast digesting carbs. These are gonna fuel me with quick energy if I need to run really fast, if I need to lift really heavy. And if I'm able to lift really heavy, I'm gonna get stronger and build more muscle. And so it's a different way of looking at food in general. And I think that that is the most important thing about this overall health and wellness journey. Look at Summer. She's just chilling in her little chair. She needs a haircut. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and then I'm gonna head up to our home gym. So how should you program your workouts to optimize muscle growth, especially as a newbie lifter? This is where you will see the most significant changes, and we call these newbie gains. The key is to progressively overload. I say pick compound lifts, whether that be squat, deadlifts, RDLs, split squats. Pick 3 to 4 exercises per each muscle group, and then slowly try to progress on those lifts each and every week. What that means is that each week you are going to try to go up in weight. The range for hypertrophy is anywhere from 5 to 30 reps, but I personally try to aim for around 6 to 12. For example, if I am deadlifting 200 pounds this week, next week I'm going to try to deadlift 205 pounds for 6. If I get to 205 and I'm able to do it for 8, then I will increase again. So the key to lifting is trying to get better in your lifts each and every time. And you want to be able to go towards failure as much as possible. When you're an intermediate lifter, you'll be able to tell how many reps you have in the tank. From a science standpoint, there is no point in going to failure each and every time because you still have the benefit of rate of preserved exertion for muscle growth when you leave 3 to 4 reps in the tank. But as a beginner lifter, it's really hard to estimate what that rate of perceived exertion is and where failure is for you if you don't actually reach failure from time to time. So as long as your form is on point, push it. Push as hard as you can to grow your muscles. Like anything in life, if you don't push beyond those boundaries, you will always stay contained of where you are and who you are now. It's only when you push beyond those boundaries that you are able to see yourself grow as a person, for your body to change its shape. And then remember to take adequate rest between your sets. And what adequate rest means is anywhere from 1, 3, 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes you can rest between lifting really heavy. And if you're telling me that you don't need to rest the 3 to 5 minutes, you are not lifting heavy enough. Increase your weight. I'm only doing 3 sets of like 6 of either squat, bench, or deadlift. But most of the time I'm just resting. And it takes me at least 30 minutes to do those 3 sets. You can't see me because the lighting's bad. Anyways, I'm late. I gotta go to bias training. As a doctor, you know, it's very important to know your own biases. Check that because it affects patient care. Anyways, I'm gonna talk you through why you need to eat at maintenance but still be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. So how do you do that, right? So confusing. So the second part of this body recomposition is the fat loss part. And we know that in order to lose weight and to lose fat, we need to be in a caloric deficit. And you may question, how are you supposed to do that if you are telling me to eat in maintenance calories? So here's the thing. We know that we need enough protein, enough nutrients to build muscle. There are many ways to be in a caloric deficit without decreasing our food intake. And that is with increasing our activity. And that's where the walking came in, and that's where more physical activity came in. I like to do just gentle walking, hitting a step goal. Mine was 10,000 steps a day. Stan and I added a dance class. You know, you can add more activity into your day. And there is a subconscious level of increase in activity when you increase your food intake or caloric intake. And the reason why is because when you've been at such a low calorie restriction for so long, your body tends to decrease how much it uses. So normally your brain uses anywhere from 300 to 400 calories a day just by thinking, processing, and your stomach and your liver and all those things are using energy to digest food, to process toxins and all that stuff. And so when you don't feed it enough, you can have decrease in the peristalsis of the intestines, leading to bloating. And so to optimize how your body moves and lives, you need to feed it enough. and that's what you're doing at maintenance calories. And how to get into a calorie deficit is that you need to track. All you're gonna do is Google a TDEE calculator. Doesn't matter which one, just be consistent with it. You can adjust along the way. Type in your stats, your age, your gender, your height, and most importantly, your activity level. With body recomposition, I recommend exercising anywhere from 2 to 4 plus days. And so that is either light exercise or moderate exercise. And if you're really insane, then you're going to be in the heavy exercise. But do not put sedentary, because with this process, you will be exercising. So please do not put sedentary, because that will make you like be in a cut. Okay. So after that, they're going to give you this big bold number, and that is your maintenance calories. That is what you're trying to hit. Step number 2 is determining your protein intake. When we look at the science, it says that in order to sustain muscle, we need adequate amounts of protein in our diet without resistance training. Once you add in resistance training, you do not need protein as much as we think we do. So based on the studies, optimally, there is decrease in return after reaching 1.3 grams of protein per kilogram of lean muscle mass. So you don't need that much. So if you're American and watching this, we usually calculate in pounds, so I'll help you with that. It's anywhere from 0.6 to 1 grams of protein per pound of lean muscle mass. It's a range. As long as you stay in the middle of that range or in between that range, you're gonna be fine. It doesn't have to be accurate 100% of the time. And then the rest of it is going to be divided into your carbs and fats. And I want you to get one of those scales. And honestly, the only way I am able to know how much I'm putting into my body is this guy. I put everything on this guy and I measure it, and then it goes into my body. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it sounds like, oh my gosh, you have to weigh everything, that's so hard. But imagine all the years that you've been trying to diet and then not diet and then diet and then not diet. Like, I prefer to stick with a plan that is sustainable and gives me long-term results. And so if you don't feel like you can even do tracking for 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, then maybe this is not right for you. And maybe we should just focus on healing our relationship with food, eating until we feel satiated, and then just adding in resistance training. Once that is healed, then you can kind of adjust and do all the little minor details, but you don't have to do all these things at once. Those are my recommendations.
And lastly, it all comes down to consistency. Try to track your progress from month to month rather than day to day or even week to week. And that's all I had for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you again next week. Peace.